Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one. Hope you guys had a great day today. Indexes green across the board today for a change here, upsetting the bears here as the bears continue to try to push down on SPY. You can see that they came into the big support area here, the 420 zone, and got rejected here. Most of our indexes green across the board. So finally, some momentum to the upside here. The big story of the day is our yields, guys. Yields may finally be peaking here. So the 10-year yield down about 1.31%, coming off a big rejection here from overbought territory on the yields. You can see on the weekly here that we are potentially nearing a slight top here, guys. Came up all the way to about 4.9% almost on the 10-year and now starting to taper back. Also, you look at the 20-year, same concept, right? Went all the way up to 5.2 and then retraced about 15 basis points down to about 5.06 here by the end of the day. So are we peaking on yields? Well, we are definitely running in to the hotter areas of the RSI here and towards the higher end of yield expectations for the next 2 years. The long-term yields, guys, are filled with a bunch of speculation. So this 20-year, this 10-year as well are pretty much speculative rates, right? Nobody knows what the rates are going to be in 10, 20 years. But they're based off the short-term rates. And you can see the short-term rates here have been maintaining quite flat. This is the 1-year yield, right? So maintaining pretty much at 5.5, which is said to be the higher end of the Fed target at this time next year, 2024. The 2-year yield, as it should be as well, right, coming into 2025, actually should be a bit lower. It should be sitting with Fed consensus around 4.5, but you can see peaked around here at around 5.05 and just ever so slightly hesitating to go higher here. So are we peaking on yields? Also, the dollar after pretty much a 10-12 week rally to the upside may also be looking to peak out here on the upside, right? And we did have a good drop on oil today, massive drop on oil today, 5.5% from the top here, guys. You're talking about an 11% drop on oil, which is really good for inflation numbers here. So all of that coming together, yields coming down, oil coming down, the dollar coming slightly down, did lead our stocks higher today. So we are going to look at our major indexes, of course, see where we're situated here. We're also going to take a look at our major tech names. And lastly, my portfolio, because we did rearrange a few positions here. So without further ado, let's get right into it, guys. So SPY, what have we been looking for here, guys, all along? Well, we've been looking for the bears to bottom out and then our bulls to make a recovery for a potential daily uptrend shift here. As we've been saying, the seasonality is playing in our favor here. October, especially the last 2 weeks of October, are supposed to be quite good. So now that we're through week 1, coming out of this bearish September momentum, well, it's remained to be seen. Can the bulls get it done and set the daily uptrend? I'll remind you, we are still in an atmosphere of extreme fear. And this, in my opinion, is still a heavy buy zone, guys, for a lot of names, a lot of which I illustrated in the beginning of yesterday's video. So if you didn't see that one, just go check out the first 3-4 minutes. I list about 15 names that I've been looking at here that are at very good value, right? So what do we need the bulls to do? Well, like I said, set the daily uptrend here. This little one green day is not enough. The bears are still in control of this daily downtrend here. If we continue to push lower, there will be some further support in the 420 down to 410 area here. This little green box that I've labeled on the chart, it is previous resistance here, should be acting as a good support zone. Bears still in control of this weekly. We are looking for the bottoming out process to be happening, guys. So I need to see the bulls line up a few more green days and come as close as possible to our most recent lower high, which will be 431.67, right? Get as high as close as possible to this. You may be able to set up for the daily trend change, but as of now, bears in full control, need to see more than one green day. QQQ, same concept. However, QQQ holding up a bit better, never actually flushing the lows. So you see SPY here did go down for a leg further. QQQ, on the other hand, never did. And QQQ was supported by a lot of bullishness here today. Take a look on the heat map, guys. Technology was on fire today. Tesla almost up 6%, and a lot of our other names, Google up almost over 2%, Microsoft almost 2%, a few other names as well, Oracle, Adobe 2%, right? Meta up 1.5%, Amazon almost 2%, Apple up almost 1%, right? So very good day, except for energy, because oil obviously plummeted here. And on the one-day relative, guys, you'll see that it is a much different picture than yesterday. Most of our major sectors in the green here today, and energy to the negative by 3%, which is good for inflation. So this day was pretty much all moving in the right direction here. So QQQ, guys, what are we looking for, guys? I need to see a break of 363. If the bulls can break 363, you will have a new daily uptrend. Since the bears never flushed this, didn't continue the daily downtrend, you would have a brand new daily uptrend. So 1 or 2 more days of trading would do it. Can the bulls get it done? Right? If they just roll over here into further daily consolidation, well, the daily downtrend simply continues here to the bears. And at that point, your weekly downtrend as well will continue. And in my opinion, we'd be heading into the mid to low 340s area. But the bulls putting up some good defense here at this weekly 26 EMA, refusing to give it back. So we'll see, can the bulls get it done? But as of now, guys, looking good. This whole little area here, 355, is looking like a tough zone for the bears to break. So we'll see, can they do it? Or will our bulls have a chance at a new daily uptrend here and potentially get us a weekly upswing going? And then we'll need to see, can it get as close to 381 as possible, reset a weekly uptrend into Q3 and Q4. Now, XLV here, XLF Financials. XLF Financials also doing fairly good on the day here, rejecting from our lows. We flushed yesterday's lows and then had a very, very nice intraday rally here, resetting the hourly uptrend. So step 1 is complete. They've regained the hourly uptrend. Remains to be seen. Can they push a bit higher, guys? I need to see them get as close as possible to 33.68. Get me up all the way to 33.25. Set yourself up nicely for the daily uptrend. Any bounce, however, is going to be for a lower high under this. The higher they bounce, the better they can set themselves up for the daily downtrend. Don't bounce high enough, and you will be further pushing down the daily downtrend into lower lows. And at that point, guys, I've been saying it all week pretty much. Your target area for your support zone is pretty much anything below 32, right? This whole 32 down to 30 zone right here is going to be heavy area of support for your financial bulls here. So bulls playing some good defense, but like I said on the other names, guys, it's not going to be one day that does it. Need to see a succession of green days here, get as high as possible to our previous lower highs, and then you could set yourselves up for the daily trend change here. I'll remind you, financials still remain heavy oversold. XLV Healthcare. XLV Healthcare, same situation, right? One day of green is not going to do it. What I need to see on healthcare, get us as close as possible to 130. Get me all the way up close to 130. You set yourself up for the daily trend change. Bounce only a little bit and roll over towards the lows. Well, your daily downtrend will just continue at that point, guys. And then on the weekly, we are looking for this entire zone here, right? I would label it as pretty much your 126, right? It's going to be high 126s all the way down here to your 125 is going to be a very crucial area of support for the bulls. So you can see them reacting from this zone already, right? Heavy volume coming in the last few days as we approach this zone right here. That's exactly what you want to see for the beginning of a bounce to get going. So now I need to see the bulls pull up as close as possible to 130, and then we might be able to set up the daily trend change. We have not had a daily trend change, guys, in so long at this point, since July. You get a daily uptrend, guys. This will be the start of your first weekly bounce as well, since pretty much July off of this weekly downtrend here. Gonna need to see them get up back into the mid 130s. And now IWM Russell not doing a whole lot today, but at least they recovered most of the losses of the morning, guys. You can see they really dipped down hard here, guys. They were down to about 169 and recovering intraday all the way back up to 171. So love to see that. But like I said before, not one day is going to prove to me that the bulls are back alive, but it's good to see that they are reacting in the perfect zone that I've labeled on the chart. Dipped right into it. You can see the buildup of heavy volume in this location as we approach these lows here. That is what you want to see, guys. The volume climaxes into the bear drops. That is when you know that a lot of bears, guys, are getting into oversold territory here, pushing a little bit too hard to the downside, and that's when you're finding the bulls are willing to pick up the other side of this trade. So daily downtrend continues. What I need to see from this bounce, get me as high as possible to 179. As high as possible to 179, set yourself up for the daily for the daily uptrend reversal. But if you only bounce to around 173, start re-rolling over to the lows, well, they have their work cut out for them, may just continue the daily downtrend, and we may just be heading for further weekly lows here down into my sweet spot, which is pretty much 169 down to 163-ish. Pull down in here, guys. Anything pretty much in the 165 to 160, I will be writing options on in the next 2 weeks. I think that is my liftoff zone for IWM Russell, and I've been waiting for a long time for them to come back in this area for me to be able to pick up some shares in this area. So we'll see if it happens. But as of now, bulls rejecting nicely from the beginning of this zone. Now let's move on to the Dow Jones. Dow Jones as well, rejecting fairly nicely on the day today, right? Bulls getting some lift off the lows. I'll remind you, still oversold on the Dow Jones as well, something that hasn't happened since last September. Okay, so this doesn't happen very often on the Dow Jones. So that's how you know that it's big, right? So daily downtrend is continuing here. What I need to see from this bounce, just look at the most recent guy who started all of these moves that I've been labeling. That's who you need to target. Get me as close as possible to 33,900, and I'll be able to say if we bounce all the way up here to 33,700, you can set up for the daily trend change here. But if you bounce very, very shallow to 33,300 and then roll over the lows, you may be due for some lower lows here. On the weekly, we are looking from this whole support area here. Your 33,300 or 32,700 rather is going to be the key area all the way up to about, all the way up to the top end of the support zone, 33,000, right? So this little area on the Dow Jones is absolutely crucial. Why? Because it's your area of monthly support. I will reiterate this. Crucial for the bears to maintain this, for the bulls to maintain this little zone right here, guys. So we'll see if they can do it, but reacting nicely at a first glance from this zone. Step one, right? Step one is going to be get as high as possible to this. Step two is reset the daily uptrend. But as of now, guys, bears still in control of a lot of these indexes, except for QQQ. QQQ set up the nicest. XLF, bear control on the daily. XLV, bear control on the daily. IWM, bear control on the daily, and Dow Jones, bear control on the daily. They need to give me step one, a high enough bounce, and then step two, daily uptrend reversal here into the next week and a half of trading here to really reverse for your positive October seasonality here. Now let's move down to our big tech names, yeah? So Apple here, Apple having a very, very decent day here, guys, 173.66, up about 7.73%, still not able to close below your 170, right? So Apple bulls playing some very, very, very solid defense here, guys. I need to see them get as close as possible to 176. Get me back up to 176. You have a chance at resetting the daily uptrend to the upside. And at that point, your weekly bounce will be underway, and that will be step two, right? So step one, the bulls are playing some good defense here. If we do, however, trend down in the next few days, guys, I will be looking for Apple. I looked again today. Wasn't that good enough premium here below 170, right? With only a few days left to the week. So we'll see for next week, but I do want to open a few positions here on Apple below 170. So we'll see if we can get it done. Still in my sweet spot here, but Apple looking fairly decent, guys. This is my sweet spot. Very good area to pick up some long-term shares. I'm just getting a little bit greedy on my short puts here. I want to get the best level possible for the best premium possible. Really playing this kind of defensive, right? But decent little drop on Apple here, and the bulls are playing good defense here. The work is almost done. Get me back up to 176. And then reset for a potential daily uptrend here, and I'll be really satisfied and confident to really take some more heavier positions here in the lower 170 range. But as of now, guys, doing what they're supposed to do. Now, AMD also having a very good day. So AMD is one step closer to your daily uptrend, guys. Tomorrow, if we crack 104.86, that will be daily uptrend started for the bulls, guys. We haven't had a daily uptrend here on AMD for a while. They tried for it here, but the bears rolled them over, right? They tried for it here, but the bears rolled them over, right? So a lot of attempts. We haven't had a true daily uptrend since pretty much back here in July, right? Which got taken back immediately in 2 days of trading. So now we'll see, can the bulls get it done, guys? I need to see a break of 104.86 tomorrow, right? Or Friday, to really make this daily uptrend happen. Daily uptrend will mean that your weekly low is in. Then we'll be looking for the weekly upswing. How close can we get to 112? Get me as close as possible, 112. Set up maybe for the weekly uptrend. And then if you get the weekly uptrend, your monthly higher lows on AMD will be set. Okay, so keep an eye on that, guys. I've been playing AMD every single week for the past 4 or 5 weeks, right? So getting some very decent premium here. I still have the 98 open, but they're probably going to be pretty worthless come tomorrow morning here. So looking to pocket even more premium again. The whole time that AMD stays close to my sweet spot, I will continue writing options, but looking very decent by the bulls, right? But I need to see this daily uptrend, and then we can start looking higher for the 112 mark. But great job by the bulls. Amazon coming up here, 1.83%. Amazon refusing to flush the lows after yesterday's drop, right? So very good defense, a little bit of an inside candle with yesterday's trading here. So Amazon, what I need to see on Amazon here is need to see them crack 130.5, right? Tuesdays or Mondays high pretty much. Crack the 130.45, guys. You will have a daily uptrend. I mean, this is a very bad spot to start a daily uptrend in because it's at the bottom. Normally, you'd want to see something like this to really be able to tell you that you're going to have legs in it. But we'll take what we can get, guys, right? Crack the 130.45. Your daily uptrend will be set on Amazon here. But flush and roll over, and no one's surprised because the bounce is fairly weak. So if you do flush and roll over here, guys, daily downtrend does continue. Your weekly down swing will continue as well. And the whole time that it continues pushing lower and lower, I will be writing options on Amazon. I've been writing options this week and last week on Amazon for this specific reason, because it's very close to my sweet spot. 120 down to 110 is the area that I'm looking to pick up more Amazon shares at here. Looking fairly healthy though, rejecting nicely on the weekly off your 26 EMA. So Amazon, no real red flags whatsoever here, guys. The long-term bulls are in control, right? Your monthly bulls are heavily in control. Now it's just a question of where will we find our weekly lows here. And you'll only know the weekly lows are set, guys, once we have a new daily uptrend here. And I need to see the bulls push back into 135 for us to be safe. Now let's move down to Google. Google having a very beautiful day, guys. Google is set up better than most, right? Google, heck of a bounce now, guys. If you put the fib on this, right, from your most recent drop, you will see that Google has now taken back almost 80% of this entire move down. So this is when I can say with utmost confidence that when we get a potential leg down here, it'll be for a higher low. Anything above pretty much 128.31, going to be for a higher low, for a retest, and potentially be able to set up the new daily uptrend, guys. So that's what we're looking for on Google. Google bulls performing very nicely here, guys. One of our lead bulls, has been a lead bull for quite some time now. And Google is one of the only names as well that never lost the weekly. Your weekly lows were 127.25-ish, and we never lost them. So weekly uptrend is continuing on Google at this point. Now just need to see them set the daily uptrend here for that last little bit of confirmation. But I really like Google's position right now. And keep in mind, guys, Google is doing really well on a year-to-date basis as well, right? Huge move on Google, and we're really not that far off of your all-time high resistance area here. So any dip on Google has just been aggressively bought by the bulls. That's exactly what you want to see, and I don't blame them. Google's balance sheet is absolutely solid. Now looking at Meta. Meta also with a great day of recovery, 1.5%, right? Pretty much engulfing yesterday's day of trading here, but still caught in this really choppy range here, guys. So what I need to see by Meta here is pretty much a break of 312. Break 312 for me, and your daily uptrend is resumed. At this point, we're kind of caught in this little tightening range here. So two key levels on Meta, 313-ish. I know I said 312, but it's kind of like 312 and a half here, right here. And then obviously your low at 288, right? Flush to 288, daily downtrend is renewed. And if you break the 312 to the upside here, well, daily uptrend is set here, and your weekly uptrend as well will be started, guys. I know it's messy, but it would be the start of a new weekly uptrend, right? So we've been looking for this entire time. You look for the weekly higher low, and they weren't able to V-shape it, but they may be able to do it in 2 steps here. So Meta, looking forward to see their earnings here, especially in about 3 Wednesdays from now, right? We're going to get Meta earnings. So wouldn't surprise me, guys, if we kind of do maintain within this range. Maybe we push a little bit higher, maybe we push a little bit lower, but these earnings right here are going to be absolutely crucial. And I do think, guys, that they should be fairly bullish, so long as they kept their costs in control. But Meta looking very decent, guys, playing some good defense. Microsoft also coming off the lows today, 1.78% to the upside here. So great little push up on Microsoft here, kind of like Apple, right? I'm not satisfied with the size of this bounce right here. So if we do choose to roll over in the next few days, if the market just refalls apart and yields keep skyrocketing, the bears do have a nice setup for further follow through, because this bounce is very tiny so far, right? But we did set a higher low ever so slightly than our previous low last Thursday, right? So if we do now break with 322 to the upside, guys, it will be your daily uptrend started, right? And then you'll have to see, guys, how much can they take back in relation to 340, right? So that is going to be the next key question. But step number one, right? Step number one is set the daily uptrend. Then step number 2 is how high can the weekly bounce get in relation to 341? It's a weekly downtrend. So you're expecting a lower high in relation to 341. Then can the bulls reset a weekly uptrend? So these weekly uptrend reversals, guys, they take time, as you can see. It's not just done with the snap of a finger, right? But Microsoft putting in some good defense work here. But for any which reason, if we continue to flush, as I've been saying this entire time, guys, my sweet spot down here, looking very forward, if we do pull down further into here, to writing some options on Microsoft in the next few weeks. Keep in mind, Microsoft also with earnings on Wednesday, 25th of October, so it's coming soon. But bulls playing some nice defense. NVIDIA also, NVIDIA looking for your daily uptrend here. So inside candle with yesterday's trading. So is the downside finished on NVIDIA? We're still looking for your daily higher low here. I'll remind you, this is an attempt at a daily downtrend reversal, looking to set the daily uptrend here. So until we crack 451, I can't say that your daily uptrend is set. So can they pull back a little bit further? They definitely have the space for it now, right? We're looking for that step number 2 completion. Get the daily uptrend, guys. Your weekly upswing will be under motion heavily, guys. And then it'll be how high can we get in relation to 510, our all-time highs, right? So NVIDIA playing really, really good defense by the bulls here. You can see we're now above the 12 EMA right here on this yellow line. And that's pretty much all I have to say for NVIDIA, guys. Obviously, if we just roll over here into lower lows, 400 is the absolute key level for me for the bulls here, as it does represent your weekly lows here. But good job by NVIDIA. Semiconductors as a whole, guys, having a very decent day of recovery here today. So we'll see, guys, can NVIDIA continue pushing up, reset the daily uptrend? And now let's move on to Tesla. What a move on Tesla, guys. 6%, right? 6%. So now Tesla bulls looking very solid here. I would argue that this is entirely one move. So the daily downtrend by the bears was set here, previously coming off 278, right? So remains to be seen, how high can we get in relation to 278? I said yesterday's video and the few videos before that if a bounce were to happen, I need to see the bulls get as high as 260. Well, look, we hit the 260. Why is that important, guys? You will see that now we have taken back the 61% of the move, right? So the likely scenario for the bulls now becomes they've created enough space to set up for your daily trend change. After losing the daily uptrend with this move down here, loss of your lows, right? Now we need to see, can the bulls, that's step number 1, they got the bounce. Step number 2, give me the daily uptrend. If you give me the daily uptrend, guys, I will say that your weekly low is set right here at around 235, right? And that we are potentially due for the continuation here, or maybe the renewal of a new weekly uptrend, guys. Crack 278 off of this move right here. New weekly uptrend is started. We lost the weekly uptrend with this down move here. So now we need to recapture it. So they did a great job, guys. Step number 1, the bounce is done. Now, can they set the daily uptrend here, but creating a ton of space? I like it, guys, but keep in mind, Tesla with earnings now in 2 weeks. So going to be very curious to see what they say on earnings, considering the fact that they did deliver less vehicles, which could translate into lower than expected revenue and lower than expected EPS. But the key is going to be the margins and the guidance, okay? So keep that in mind, but beautiful day on Tesla here. When we do pull back here, guys, off this move, I'm telling you, I will be writing puts in the lower 240 area to kind of target this secondary bounce. If we pull back into the 250s, high 240s, I'll be writing some puts here, and then potentially we will see the market ride up, and I'll be able to pocket all that premium. And now lastly, Palantir and PayPal. Palantir doing a good job of recovering. So what are we doing, guys? Still trying to set the daily uptrend here. So now this low right here, 1487, is crucial. Going to be looking, can they hold this and set the daily uptrend? I need a crack of 1677. Do that. New daily uptrend is started. Your weekly bounce will be underway here, guys. And then we will be looking, right, at a new weekly uptrend confirming in that case here. And then it's off to the races for Palantir here, as Palantir is set to deliver earnings as well early November here. So a lot of bullishness surrounding these earnings. They've been getting a lot of contracts. So it wouldn't surprise me that earnings will be positive. Their net margins will also be positive. Net income will be positive. So a lot of bullishness for Palantir recently. And it definitely shows in this recovery in the stock price now. So step 1 is complete. Can they set the daily uptrend? So common theme across all these stock, guys, is the bounce is nice, but without confirmation of a daily uptrend, guys, you can't say that a nice weekly move is underway, because at any point, guys, the bears can just recapture this and send us into lower lows if the indexes don't cooperate. But good little move by Palantir. Just need to see them get out of this chop zone and above 1677. And lastly, PayPal. PayPal once again stuck in this little area. They've been stuck here, guys. they've been pretty much stuck here for the better part of the last 2 weeks. So a little bit of an accumulation zone. It's good that the bulls are playing defense at the lower end of our 52-week lows here. Very good. It leads me to believe, guys, that this is pretty much the buy zone for a lot of big institutions, guys, in the high 50s, potentially mid 50s, looking like a very hot area of support here. So looking very bullish, but not a lot to do with price action, right? Just a tight range down here. So what I need to see from the bulls, guys, is crack the upper end of this range, 59.50. Get me into the $60 area, 61, 62. You'll maybe set up for the daily trend change here using this whole green box here as a now support zone. But as of now, guys, the bulls not being able to take up much ground here. I know it's up 2.22% on the day, but it doesn't show since we've been trapped in this little range here. The bears are still in full control, consolidating at the bottom end of this downswing here. And on the weekly as well, guys, you can see that the bears are still in control of this weekly downtrend. So the bulls need to give me step number one. PayPal hasn't even done step number one. Step number one is the bounce. Haven't had a bounce yet, need to see a high bounce in the 61, 62 zone. Then step two, set the daily uptrend. And now lastly, guys, my portfolio. So you can see that my portfolio here, we're pretty much on par with the NASDAQ at this point. Dropped a little bit this week because obviously it was a terrible week. My Canadian banks are down. My TMF play is down. PayPal was down. My CSIQ that I averaged into got absolutely destroyed. But in terms of the premium that we've been writing, guys, a lot of the premium, a lot of the levels that I picked, guys, is doing very nicely. So let's look at that, guys. So we're up still 28.64% on the year. I do believe that we'll have a very good recovery October, November, December in the portfolio as well. And I will be increasing position size as soon as we confirm some of these daily uptrends. And as soon as we get out of these weekly SPY and QQQ downtrends, that is what I'm looking for here to go a little bit more heavy and start juicing this portfolio back up. But you can see we're still outperforming SPY here, 28.64% on the day. And here on SPY for the year, pretty much 10.16. So now our positions, guys, let's update the positions, right? AMD 98s still have it, but you know, we wrote them for 47 cents. They're down to 10 cents. So good on that. The American Expresses that I picked up also earlier in the week for 59 cents. They're still slightly above because American Express did come down a little bit, but AXP still trading above 145. So we'll see, do I get assigned on AXP or not? But this is definitely in my sweet spot zone here, guys. 145 is this yellow line. So we'll see, can they maintain above 145 by Friday? You know, if I get assigned, perfect. That's exactly where I'm looking to buy AXP. BABA, you can see I wrote BABA today, as a matter of fact, the 82s for 28 cents. So BABA is currently chilling around the $84 range. 82 is this yellow line right here. This $82 yellow line represents a very solid area of support. And you can see it even on the weekly, guys. BABA with a very good area of support around the 82 zone. So did not hesitate to write these. I like BABA around this level here. So picked up some decent premium considering there's only 2 trading days left. My GIS 61s, well, they're currently trading around 20 cents, wrote them for 30. GIS currently still trading around 63, I believe, and around the end of the day. Yep, around 63. So we'll see if we come down to the 61 and if I get assigned or not. Coca-Cola, wrote them for 34, trading for 27 right now. So we're up on those as well. Coca-Cola trading slightly below, or now back above 55. So right around 55, but this is my buy zone for Coca-Cola, guys, right? This whole green area, good area of support. So we'll see if we get assigned on those. But for now, looking decent. We're still holding above. My ON semiconductor play that I wrote for 38 cents, they came down yesterday and today a bit as well. But you can see that even though we wrote them at 88, stock is trading around $90. So we're not yet in jeopardy of being assigned. That's that yellow line right here. So let's see what happens to those. I wrote the Schwab 49.5s today for 15 cents. Just a little throwaway position here, guys. I wouldn't mind picking up Charles Schwab at 49.5. You can see that that's this yellow line right here towards the lower end of our 52-week lows. So I would definitely love to pick that up in this big support zone that the bulls have created here after the whole March crisis. And you can also see that I did write some UPS today, 152.5s, very close to current price. 69 cents that I got for them. They're down to 57. Wrote those end of the afternoon. Why? Because I do believe that UPS is due for a slight turnaround. They've been bottoming in this whole area. It's a good area of previous support. You can see this, guys, right? This whole area is very good, trading at the bottom end of a 2-year range for the most part here. So I wouldn't be mad being assigned the UPSs down there. And now lastly, the Amazon 121s that I wrote yesterday. You can see I wrote them yesterday for 50 cents on that huge 3.5% Amazon drop, 4% drop yesterday. Wrote the 121s for 50 cents and we closed them today for 13 cents. I chose to replace them with Charles Schwab for the same premium. I got 15 cents on Schwab. Closed Amazon for 13, but obviously Schwab is half, if not, 40% of the exposure. So just conserving some buying power. So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the green day on the markets. One day is not enough. We'll see how many of the bulls can line up here, but looking decent coming off our support zone here on SPY here. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, consider liking the video. If you're new, consider subscribing. Really helps the algorithm a lot. We'd love to have you here. And as always, guys, consider asking questions if you have any questions on macro, options, or stocks. Been getting great questions from you guys recently and always happy to answer. So take care. I'll see you tomorrow after the close, and peace.